Good morning, traders, and this is your S&P 500 day trade setups for today. Yesterday was a public holiday in the US. Markets sort of closed at half day, but we still had the rejection off this level of 3,400, and we had a bit of a green day, and there were quite a few points on offer up until probably, I think we've been around about lunchtime in the US. But anyway, let's just get down to levels. So first and foremost, this 3,400 is a key line in the sand. Now, because yesterday was a public holiday, if you look at the true S&P 500 market, not the futures market, this would represent a pretty big gap from when we closed on Friday to where we are now. So I would like that gap to close. In other words, I think a retest of this 3,400 is on the cards, which would get me long again. Pointless going long right at the top here, unless we manage to stay above this area where we are now. So this 34.26, if we can hold that, then there's definitely an opportunity for a move to the upside. Now, if we look at the hour, we have a pretty clear, so that is the original trend line. Okay, and then obviously we have that trend line, which is also pretty common. So first you take the first high and the second high, that's normally your first trend line, but then your second high to the next lot is normally another trend line. You can pretty much draw them in and you'll see it yourself. So retest of those areas is also on the cards. And as you can see, that's going to be down in this 3,400 area. So these are the two areas we're watching today. We are watching 34.26 and we're watching 3,400. So 34.26, there is quite a bit of support for it. And 3,400 is obviously the daily, weekly level as well. And obviously, the next thing that you need to bear in mind is this gap. And I think let's just use a block here. And I'll do it from there to there. Okay, so that's the gap from Friday, which hovers around 34.16. Now, a lot of times what I've noticed with the S&P is it will come down to the top of the gap, which is pretty much this 34.26. You can see that's top of the gap bar there, and use that as gap close. So right now we're sideways, but it does look like we have a bit of potential for structure to be forming here. We'll have to wait and see what happens at the European session. Now, just based on yesterday, that's 400-point move up. So a substantial amount of points on offer, and that's typical when you have massive moves like this. And the moves back up are also big, even though in comparison to the previous moves they look fairly short. But you'll find that your position size shrinks dramatically because of your risk. Okay, anyway, so for me, that's pretty much the plan, is watching these three areas. So it's 34.26. If we get bullish price action off this area, we're long. 34.14, we get bullish price action off there, we're long. But definitely off 3,400, if we get any more bullish price action down there, we're long. Now, in my eye, we've tested this on the futures market, but we would not have tested this area in the cash market. So I would assume 9 times out of 10, my assumption works out that we come down to this area, retest this. It has to be retested during a normal market session, and not just during a holiday, public holiday. So that's pretty much the level I'm waiting for, is 3,400. Pull back all the way down to 3,400, give me a double bottom here, and then another attempt to the upside. Okay, may not materialize, may bounce off one of these two levels, but anyway, that is just the way the market goes. And I just want to, before we close off, just have a quick look at what the S&P, but what the NASDAQ futures is doing. NASDAQ futures is down 0.5% after closing flat yesterday. Okay, so they are down 0.5%. So yeah, there may still be a little bit of downside here, but I think 3,400 is the line in the sand. I don't see. Well, if we break through that, it's going to be fairly painful, because your next level is going to be. So I'm taking this inside tail here. Price has only just gone past it, so that would be the next level to look for, which would be 33.55. And then obviously getting through that, then you're going to need to be looking at every single tail here until we find an area where the buyers are going to step in. Okay, so yeah, that's it for me today. Not looking to be long up here, looking for structure lower down, and we have to wait and see where that structure is. And if you look at it, the 8 hour, 3,400 is the one that you need to be patient for. You just need to wait for this volatility just to settle down a little bit. Then it'll give you a better opportunity to get into this with reasonable risk to reward. And 3,400 is the one that I would expect. 33.55, that's if we get through there. Okay, anyway guys, that's it for me today. I hope it helps you somewhat, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow. Cheers for now.